All right. So you know how much we love diving into these tech demos and early access docs. And today's no different.
No, not at all. And this one's really interesting.
Yeah. This tail crafting app, it's like, okay, we've all seen AI trying to write stories, but this one wants to make you the main character, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a whole different ball game. And they've actually the way they lay it all out in this description, it makes you think, maybe they're onto something.
Right. And it's a mobile app, which is interesting.
And they're using Unity for the app.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you know it's at least aiming for something visually cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Unity's no slouch when it comes to handling, well, pretty much anything you throw at it these days, especially visuals.
For sure. So, okay, you fire up the app, and like any good choose your own adventure, you've got to pick your setting first, right?
Right.
And get this, they already got like over 55 different settings to choose from.
Yeah, I saw that everything from like sci-fi, spaceship heist kind of stuff to straight up romancing a rock star, which I'll admit, that one caught my eye a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, who hasn't wanted to romance a rock star at some point, right?
Basically.
But it shows you the range they're going for here.
For sure. And starting with these predefined settings, I think that's actually really smart.
Oh, how so?
Well, it gives the AI, some solid ground to stand on. It's like instead of saying to a painter, here's a blank canvas, create a masterpiece,
Yeah.
it's more like giving them a canvas that already has, maybe some basic outlines, a color palette. They can still get creative, but they've got a foundation.
That's a really good analogy, actually. I like that. So the AI is not starting entirely from scratch each time.
Exactly. And speaking of AI, that's the core of all this, right? And they're being pretty upfront about using external AI services.
Yeah, I was going to say for things like text generation and all that, they're not, trying to reinvent the wheel.
Which, again, I think is a smart move. Why spend all that time and money building your own when there are already these really powerful AI tools out there, right?
Right. So, okay, you've got your setting, and then it's like assemble your party. Classic RPG stuff. Classic. Now, the party members, those are preset for now. But they do mention down the line, maybe users can create their own, which, whoa.
Yeah, the possibilities with that.
Right, that's a whole other level. But okay, so you've got your setting, your party, and then boom, it's go time. And it's turn-based, which
Yeah.
I think makes sense for this kind of thing.
It does, yeah. It gives you that time to really think about your action, what you want to do next.
Totally. So you input your action, and you can type it out. You can actually say it into your phone, or they even have multiple choice options if you're feeling like, decision paralysis coming on.
Right. And I think that's a nice touch, catering to different play styles, comfort levels. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat.
That user input, whatever you type or say, that becomes the prompt for the AI.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does it take that and actually make a story out of it?
Well, and this is the cool part. It doesn't just spit out like a paragraph of text and call it a day.
Well, so it's more than just like you open the door, you see a dark room.
Way more. It creates a continuation of the story, and it includes narration, so it's like you're listening to a book being read aloud. It even suggests background music to go along with it.
Hold on, wait, what? Suggested music? Like actual music?
I know, right? And not just like generic elevator music. They've got two approaches to this. They've built up a library of licensed tracks they can pull from, but here's where it gets really wild. They're talking about integrating with Spotify Premium.
Whoa, are you serious?
Yeah, so imagine the AI analyzes the scene, the mood, the everything, and then it picks the perfect track from your Spotify to play in the background. Dynamically generated soundtracks for your adventure. How cool is that?
That's next level stuff. I'm already imagining myself like exploring a spooky abandoned spaceship with like some dark synthwave blasting in the background.
Right. It's about creating an atmosphere and experience. And it doesn't stop with music.
Oh, there's more.
Oh yeah, the app description talks about how it also tries to generate descriptions for artwork.
No way. So like if you're fighting a dragon, it'll try to describe what that dragon looks like.
Exactly. They're really going for that full sensory experience, like you're really there in the story. Now, they're also being realistic about this because generating a new image every time had to get expensive fast.
Yeah, I can imagine the server bills for that.
Right, so they're building an image library.
Ah, okay. So it's like if it can find an existing image that matches the description, it'll use that.
Exactly, and only if it absolutely has to will it actually go through the process of like generating a brand new image.
That's actually really clever. So
Yeah.
they're like cost conscious while still aiming for this super ambitious multi-layered storytelling thing.
Right. It shows a certain practicality without, sacrificing the ambition, which I respect.
For sure.
Hmm.
But okay, all this talk about single-player adventures, and it's already blowing my mind. But they're not stopping there.
Oh, no, they are not.
They're building in multiplayer functionality, too.
Yeah, and that's where things could get really interesting.
Right, like what does that even look like?
Well, so from what they describe, it's still under development, but they're thinking along the lines of, like, shared rooms where you and up to 3 other players can all be in the same story, collaborating on what happens next.
Oh, wow. So it's like instead of just taking turns reading a choose-your-own-adventure book, you're all writing it together in real time.
Yeah, and they're even considering something called public stories, which would be like even larger groups, maybe 100 people or something, who can all observe a story as it unfolds.
Whoa, that's wild. And they'd have like a chat feature and everything.
Yeah, so people could react, comment, maybe even influence the story somehow. They haven't quite figured out that part yet.
It's like those old choose-your-own-adventure books, but on steroids and with a live audience.
Yeah.
The possibilities are, like, endless.
Right. And that potential for shared experiences, emergent narratives, it's huge. I mean, this could be the start of a whole new way to experience interactive fiction.
Okay, so they've got the single-player stuff down. They're tackling multiplayer. But where does this tale crafting app fit in the grand scheme of things? Like, who are they going up against in this brave new world of AI storytelling?
So when we talk about AI storytelling, I mean, there's one big gorilla in the room, right?
Oh, yeah. You can't have this conversation without mentioning AI Dungeon. They've been around, what, since like 2019?
Something like that. They're like the pioneers, right?
Pretty much. And they've got that, I don't know, that first mover advantage, but also they've got one big technical thing going for them.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
They run their own large language models.
Ah, so they're not relying on like GPT or whatever everyone else is using. Exactly. Which
Yeah.
means they can control the whole pipeline, right? The training data, the everything. Plus, no relying on someone else's API, which can get pricey, I'm sure.
Yeah, I bet. So that probably gives them a cost advantage in the long run.
Could do, yeah.
Hmm.
But tale crafting, they're aiming for something a little different, it seems, like with those hierarchical summaries they keep mentioning. Have you ever used AI Dungeon, by the way?
I have, yeah.
It's fun, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's like, you go off on this wild tangent, and then 2 sentences later, the AI's completely forgotten what you were just doing.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like it has the memory of a goldfish sometimes.
Right. And that's what tale crafting is trying to solve with these hierarchical summaries.
Okay, so how's that supposed to work?
Well, it's like imagine the AI is taking notes as you go, but it's not just writing down every single thing that happens.
It's like summarizing, right? Like picking out the key points.
Exactly. It remembers the most important events, the character development, the overarching plot points. So even if you go off on a tangent, it can still bring you back to the main storyline without getting completely derailed.
So it's like the AI has a really good editor in the background, making sure it doesn't contradict itself or forget crucial details from earlier.
That's a great way to put it. Because, let's be honest, there's nothing worse than a story that feels disjointed and all over the place.
Oh, totally. It just completely ruins the immersion.
And I think that's going to be super important for tale crafting, especially if they want these stories to last for like hours or even days of gameplay, right?
Yeah, if you're going to invest that much time, you want it to feel like a cohesive experience.
Absolutely. And don't forget those immersive elements we were talking about earlier, the music, the potential for generated artwork. Those things are huge for creating atmosphere, drawing you into the world.
Oh, yeah, the music especially. I mean, think about how much a good soundtrack adds to a movie or a video game.
Oh, absolutely. It can completely change how you experience a scene.
Right. Like, imagine that. But it's not just some composer's pre-recorded score. It's like the AI is creating the soundtrack to your specific adventure on the fly.
Exactly. And the artwork, too, that could be amazing. Imagine you're exploring, like, a creepy old castle, right? And as you turn a corner, the AI generates an image of a shadowy figure lurking in the distance.
Ooh, spooky.
Right. Suddenly, it's not just words on a screen anymore. It's like, you're really there.
Okay, now I'm getting chills. It's
Yeah.
like they're not just trying to create a story. They're trying to create an entire world you can step into.
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting about this whole AI storytelling thing. It's still early days, but the potential is just mind-blowing.
It really is. But, we've been talking a lot about the tech and the possibilities and everything, but there's a whole other side to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
The elephant in the room, so to speak.
Mhm.
We've been, like, geeking out over all the cool tech stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
But, like you said, the elephant in the room, I mean, this is big, right? This isn't just some new app.
It's just another app, no.
This is Like how stories get told, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to look back in 10 years and be like, remember books, remember movies, now it's all just AI adventures?
And, it makes you think about, like, the printing press, right?
Whoa. Okay, big jump there, but I kind of see where you're going.
That was a huge shift, right? Suddenly information's more available, stories can spread further, faster. This AI thing, it could be that big.
Yeah, it's like it changes the whole landscape, and not just for entertainment, right? I mean, you could use this for education.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine, like, history lessons that adapt to how you learn best.
Or like therapeutic stories,
Oh,
even
wow, yeah, to help people work through stuff.
tailored to their experiences, their needs. It's incredible when you really think about it.
It's like exhilarating and kind of scary at the same time, right?
It is because like any powerful tool.
All about how you use it.
Exactly. And that's a responsibility for the creators for sure, but also for us, for the users, for everyone.
Because we're kind of all figuring this out as we go, aren't we?
That's the truth. We're standing at the edge of like uncharted territory, and the possibilities, they're just, I don't know, limitless, but so are the questions we have to ask ourselves along the way.
Well said. So to our listeners out there, we'll leave you with this thought. As this whole AI storytelling thing unfolds, what role do you want to play in it? Think about it. And that's it for our deep dive today. We'll catch you in the next one.